Ha 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 ha. Stop, Jesus.
What? You're too short.
This content is a purely creative work aimed at enhancing English conversation skills. Stop, Jesus.
Why again?
This story is divided into two parts. The characters Jesus and Buddha do not know Tom, Parker, Olivia, or Deshawn. Olivia was sitting on the most comfortable leather sofa in the Starbucks, holding a white chocolate cowboy cookie, chatting with Tom, the barista.
By the way, Tom, have you seen the movie Alien? I watched it again with my dad last night and found some mistakes.
Her voice was filled with excitement. Tom smiled and replied,
Yeah, which one did you watch? I've seen the whole Alien series multiple times. What did you find?
Olivia started explaining in detail.
There's a scene where the crew explores the alien spaceship. In the first Alien movie, when the crew first enters the alien spaceship and finds a giant skeleton, it looks like it was just placed there for effect. In reality, if it had been there for years, wouldn't the bones be more naturally scattered?
Tom pondered for a moment.
That's a good point, Olivia. But in space, it might be different. There's no wind or animals to scatter the bones. Still, it should have been more realistic.
Olivia nodded in agreement.
And another thing, when the alien bursts out of the chest, the crew just stands there. In the first Alien movie, when the chestburster comes out of Kane's chest, the crew should have been more prepared or at least reacted faster.
Tom laughed.
Yeah, they probably would have been a lot more shocked in real life. Those moments in movies are just for dramatic effect.
After a brief pause, Olivia asked seriously,
Tom, do you think aliens exist?
Tom thought for a moment before replying.
That's a big question. There are so many stars and planets out there that it's hard to believe we're the only intelligent beings.
Olivia nodded.
But in movies, aliens are always much more advanced than us. In the Alien series, they're depicted as having technology far beyond ours. Do you think that's true in reality?
It could be. If they managed to come to Earth, their technology would be very advanced. But who knows? Maybe they're just curious explorers like us.
Olivia asked again.
What do you think they look like? In Alien, they're really scary with long, thin fingers and drooling mouths. Do you think real aliens look like that?
Tom smiled.
Probably not. The design of movie Aliens is meant to scare the audience, not to be realistic. If they evolved on another planet, they could look completely different from anything we can imagine.
Olivia, still curious, asked,
What about their spaceships? In movies, they're always sleek and high-tech. Do you think there are real spaceships like that?
Tom nodded.
If they've mastered space travel, their ships would be advanced for sure. But the designs we see in movies are made to look cool for the audience. Real spaceships might be more practical and less flashy.
Olivia mentioned Contact, saying,
Yeah, in Contact, the alien spaceship was more mysterious and less flashy. It seemed more realistic.
Tom agreed.
Right. Contact did a good job showing that alien technology could be completely different from ours. Function is more important than looks.
Olivia laughed.
So, aliens don't need to have drooling mouths and long fingers?
Tom chuckled.
Not necessarily. If they did, it would be because it helped them survive on their planet. But creating advanced technology with such hands seems unlikely.
Olivia nodded.
I read somewhere that aliens might use different senses than us, like seeing in infrared. Is that possible?
Tom replied seriously.
Absolutely. Different environments could lead to different evolutionary paths. Some animals on Earth can see in infrared, so aliens could too.
Olivia imagined.
So they could be completely different from anything we've ever seen.
Tom nodded.
Exactly. That's what makes the idea of aliens so fascinating. They could be beyond our wildest imagination.
Olivia, intrigued, said,
It's a really interesting thought, but it also makes it hard to believe that movie aliens built spaceships.
Tom laughed.
Yeah, the way they're depicted in movies isn't always realistic. Like you said, it's like trying to build a spaceship with oven mitts on.
Olivia laughed too.
Exactly. They would need more sophisticated tools and abilities to create advanced technology.
Tom smiled.
So movies are just for fun? And real aliens probably don't look like that?
Tom nodded.
Mostly, yeah. Movies are entertaining but not scientifically accurate.
Olivia, curious, asked.
Tom, what's your favorite alien movie?
Tom thought for a moment.
I really like Contact. It's about the mystery of scientific discovery and contact with aliens. It's not just action.
Olivia, intrigued, asked.
I haven't seen it yet. What's it about?
Tom explained.
It's about a scientist who discovers a signal from an alien civilization. It shows the challenges of communicating with aliens realistically.
Olivia, fascinated, said.
Sounds interesting. I should watch it.
Tom nodded.
You should. It's a great movie that makes you think about how first contact might happen.
Olivia smiled.
Thanks for the recommendation, Tom. I love talking about this stuff.
Tom said warmly.
Anytime, Olivia. Talking about aliens and movies is always fun.
Olivia asked curiously.
Do you think aliens would be friendly if they came to Earth?
Tom thought for a moment before answering.
I hope so. But it's hard to say. They might be curious like us or see us as a threat. We won't know until it happens.
Olivia, slightly scared, asked.
Just thinking about it is a bit scary.
Tom laughed.
Yeah, but it's also exciting. It reminds us how much we don't know yet.
Olivia agreed.
Right. We'll find out the truth someday.
Tom smiled.
I hope so. Until then, we'll just keep imagining with movies.
Just then, Parker entered the cafe, saying,
I heard you two talking about aliens.
Olivia laughed and replied,
Hi, Uncle Parker. Yeah, we were just wondering if real aliens look like the ones in alien movies.
Parker laughed.
I'll tell you, movie aliens are just for show. Real aliens would have a much more efficient body structure.
Tom, curious, asked.
What do you think they look like?
Parker replied seriously.
For starters, they wouldn't have long fingers and drooling mouths. They'd need to be more functional to build spaceships. Think about how sensitive our fingertips are. They'd need at least that level of precision to handle advanced technology.
Olivia agreed.
Right. We were just talking about that. Aliens would evolve to have practical body structures. There's no reason for them to have inefficient traits.
Parker nodded.
Exactly. To create advanced technology, you need precise and flexible hands.
Tom asked.
What about their vision? Do you think they see like us?
Parker thought for a moment before answering.
They could have completely different senses. Just like some animals on Earth can see ultraviolet or infrared, aliens might have those abilities too.
Olivia, fascinated, said,
So they see the world in a completely different way. That would be amazing.
Tom said,
It's all about adaptation. They would evolve based on their planet's conditions.
Parker nodded.
Right? If they come from a dark environment, they might see in infrared, or if they live underwater, they could have entirely different senses.
Olivia asked again.
So movies like Alien are just for fun, and real aliens probably don't look like that?
Parker smiled.
Mostly, yeah. Movies like Alien are made to scare and entertain us, not to be scientifically accurate.
Tom agreed.
But it's good that they make people think about possibilities.
Olivia laughed.
Yeah, it's fun to imagine.
Parker smiled.
And who knows? Maybe someday we'll discover the truth.
Olivia asked Parker.
Parker, what's your favorite alien movie?
Parker thought for a moment before answering.
The Day the Earth Stood Still. It's an old movie, but has a great message about peace and understanding.
Olivia, intrigued, asked.
I've heard of that. It's about an alien warning us about our destructive ways, right?
Parker nodded.
Yes, it's a classic sci-fi movie. It makes you think about how we would react if aliens visited us.
Tom laughed.
And until they come, we should be kinder to each other.
Olivia agreed.
That's a good message. We should be nicer to each other.
Parker laughed.
Talking about aliens made us realize we need to be kind to each other. Well, it makes sense. Who knows? Maybe aliens are watching us to decide how to treat us.
Tom smiled.
Let's hope they see our good moments and are impressed so they won't attack us.
Olivia laughed.
And hopefully, they'll forgive our bad moments too.
Parker laughed at Olivia's comment.
That's the spirit. Let's always try to be kinder to others.
Olivia said,
Thanks for talking with me about this, Parker and Tom. Even though I'm just 7, I know some people think these stories are silly.
Parker said warmly,
You're welcome, Olivia. We love talking about sci-fi stories, especially when you share them. Right, Tom?
Olivia looked at Tom expectantly, waiting for his response. Tom hesitated briefly before saying,
Yeah, Olivia, I really enjoy alien stories, especially the ones you tell.
Olivia smirked.
Oh, really, Tom? This is actually the first time I've talked about aliens.
Tom scratched his head.
Oh, right. I guess I got so caught up in your story that I lost track. Haha.
Parker and Olivia laughed at Tom's reaction. In the midst of laughter and chatter, Olivia suddenly said,
If God created everything, then we should just ask real aliens if they drool and have scary mouths with teeth inside, and why they were made that way. If we ever meet God, that is.
Unbeknownst to Olivia and her friends, Jesus and Buddha were sitting quietly in a corner of the Starbucks. Naturally, no one recognized them. Tom said,
That's a good idea, Olivia. We should have questions ready if we meet God. But you know what, Olivia?
Yes, Tom?
Olivia asked.
I think meeting God might be harder than meeting aliens.
Tom said with a smile. Olivia laughed.
Tom, I'm turning 8 next year, so I know that. That's why I said if. Anyway, if I meet God, I'll ask which movie aliens are most like the real ones they created.
Jesus and Buddha shared an amused look. They knew the answers, but enjoyed the lively conversation and the young girl's pure curiosity. Parker laughed.
That would be quite something. Asking the creator about drooling aliens.
Deshaun, who had been dozing off due to working on his music all night, struggled to open his eyes.
Asking God about aliens would be really interesting.
Tom smiled.
And God might laugh at all the strange ideas we've come up with.
Olivia laughed.
Yeah, I've decided. If I meet God, I'll ask everything.
The group looked at Olivia with fond smiles, finding her enthusiasm endearing. Olivia, still deep in thought, asked Tom,
Tom, do you really think aliens were created by God too? If we ever meet God, what do you think they'd look like? I've been thinking, and maybe God doesn't look like we think. Why do humans assume God looks like us?
Tom paused before answering.
Well, I've thought about that too. If God really exists, they might look completely different from what we imagine. The image of God we know might be something humans created because we see ourselves as the highest form of life. It might be a bit arrogant. Sorry, this got a bit complicated. Anyway, if God created all life, aliens would be included too.
Parker nodded in agreement.
Exactly. They'd be life forms created in ways we can't understand, not as simple as movies or books make them out to be.
Deshaun continued.
And if God created aliens, their appearance and culture would be totally different from ours. They evolved in completely different environments.
Olivia, more curious than ever, asked,
Do you think aliens will come to us, or will we find them first?
Tom smiled and replied,
Scientists are already trying hard to find alien life. Projects like SETI are examples. We haven't found alien life yet, but considering the vastness of the universe, we might meet them someday.
Parker added,
And we're discovering more planets, especially in the habitable zone, where life could exist. We might find alien life on one of those.
Deshaun laughed.
And if we do meet aliens, they might be more amazing than we can imagine in their technology, culture, and appearance.
Olivia was completely absorbed in their conversation.
What should we do to prepare for meeting aliens? Have you thought about how we would communicate with them, or how they might think of us?
Tom answered seriously.
That's the toughest part. If we meet aliens, finding a way to communicate will be the biggest challenge. Everything about them could be different, including language and culture.
Parker agreed.
Right. That's why scientists are studying various ways to communicate with alien life. like using math or music as universal languages.
Deshawn explained further.
And they're preparing different scenarios for contact, thinking about how to approach them and what information to exchange.
Olivia was deeply impressed.
It sounds like we have a lot to prepare before meeting aliens. It would be an incredible experience when it happens.
They continued their conversation, exploring the possibilities and wonders of alien life. Olivia was completely immersed, and Tom, Parker, and Deshawn did their best to satisfy her curiosity. The atmosphere in Starbucks had become much brighter. However, they were still pondering Olivia's innocent questions. Jesus and Buddha watched their conversation in silence, smiling. Tom laughed.
I'm really curious about how our first meeting with aliens would go. How would they see us? Would they consider us friends or be wary of us?
Parker replied seriously.
That depends on how we treat them. If we approach them kindly and respect their culture, they are more likely to consider us friends.
Deshawn agreed.
Exactly. If we don't show hostility, they won't see us as enemies. The key is mutual respect and understanding.
Olivia, determined, said,
Then we should be ready for that day. Always be prepared to meet aliens and try to befriend them.
Jesus and Buddha also nodded quietly in agreement with their resolution. Olivia shouted to everyone,
Don't forget, we're meeting here again tomorrow.
And so, they spent the night strengthening their bond through their shared imagination of alien life. Olivia would dream happily of meeting aliens. It was a night with an unusually bright sky full of stars. Somewhere out there, an alien must be watching.